Have you ever wondered what's the fastest way to grow a YouTube channel, or how much money you can make off YouTube, or what's the future of Krunker look like, or why hasn't PhilzGoodMan posted in so long, or maybe you're just here because you're wondering if you can get some KR? I'll be answering all of that in this long overdue YouTube video. I've actually been having a hard time coming up with topics for YouTube videos, so I'll be talking a bit more about that, but I think one of the reasons why I had difficulty choosing topics is because I just need to get this video out of the way first. So you may have heard less of me lately, but I'm still very involved with Krunker. In fact, of course, more involved with Krunker now because I'm a Krunker developer. So this video is really all about tracing that path. But I wanted to go back even further, starting off as a Krunker player, what got me into the game on YouTube and growing the channel, and then eventually becoming a developer. Definitely owe it to you guys to kind of explain things in more detail. I'll be talking about my strategy for growing the YouTube channel, some challenges with the YouTube algorithm, monetization, stuff like that. There will be 3 chapters to this video of my Krunker career, I guess you could say. So first it's going to be player, and then YouTuber, and then developer. And let's get started with chapter 1. I remember when I was just starting off on YouTube, I would get comments like, why are you playing Krunker? Why are you wasting a GTX 1080? And then I would respond with like a bunch of different reasons about, you know, how graphics are not important. It's all about like mouse control and stuff like that. But the point in relation to this story is that I didn't do content creation about any other games before Krunker. So Krunker is my first and only game in which I'd make content about. So even though I was never a content creator before Krunker, I was still very involved with PC gaming. Of course, it's something that I enjoyed, but I also worked at a few gaming hardware companies. For the majority of my career, I worked at Asus, the PC hardware company, and they make pretty much everything like motherboards, graphics cards, monitors. But I mainly focused in on the gaming laptops, so I was doing product marketing for the gaming laptops. And this was a company that I respect a lot. I got to travel, which was fun. So I would go to gaming shows, and then once a year I would go to Taiwan. As with any corporate job, whether you're involved in gaming or not, it can be very draining. So somewhere along the way, I got tempted by some recruiters. They were able to entice me to a direct competitor to Asus. So I ended up joining Razer. And I felt bad about it, but I didn't feel that bad about it because this is something that happens all the time. Over at Razer, my main role was to manage the marketing efforts for the Razer phone. I won't say too much about Razer, but it was definitely a wild ride. Let's just say that I preferred working at Asus, and they ended up closing the mobile business unit. And before then, I decided, you know, it was time for me to leave the company and try my luck at something called self-employment. And it's there that my Krunker story truly got started. When starting out, I didn't start out alone. I teamed up with some good friends as well as my brother. A few days a week we would work out of a co-working space, and you know, in the past we would game together a lot. So naturally we're not going to be, you know, working all the time. We were actually trying to find the best browser games to play while in the office. We tried games like Zoms Royale, Survive.io. They were okay, but then my bro randomly remembered a game that he had played like about a year ago, a game called Krunker. I remember playing it, loading in, jumping into a game for the first time, and I immediately thought, wow, this game is amazing, and I was definitely hooked from the start. And I do remember a time in which, you know, we both looked at each other and we thought, wow, like this game is so much better than the other games that we played, the other browser games. Now this brings me to the second part of my story, which is how I became a Krunker YouTuber. Before YouTube, I actually tried Twitch. I had just gotten fiber internet and upgraded from DSL. I was just holding off because I didn't want to use Comcast cable. So anyways, I was playing Krunker on my first Twitch stream, and you know how like when you're a new streamer, you have no views. I didn't expect anything, but I got like several viewers. Like a few people stopped by and a lot of people asked, hey, can I join your game? I knew that Krunker had a ton of potential, but I wasn't sure at that point if Twitch was right for me. I didn't feel like it would really fit my schedule that well. So I turned to YouTube, and I really think that the good thing about YouTube is that, you know, you can make videos on your own time. And I felt like Krunker was being kind of underserved on YouTube at the time. So now I'll tell you about my strategy for growing YouTube, and especially in the first year, my channel grew very quickly. And I didn't think that the strategy would like, you know, guarantee success going into it, but I knew that if I followed it, I would have a relatively high chance of success. I'll also tell you about some of the downsides to this strategy. The simplest way to describe my strategy was just to focus on quality over quantity, and release less videos, but make sure that the videos are really good. So if you think about, if you go to a YouTube channel and someone has like 10 videos and they're all like really different in terms of quality and maybe even topics, or you go to someone who has like 3 videos and they're all really good quality and they're really consistent in the style, then you know what to expect from that guy with 3 videos, and you're more likely to subscribe. And also, this type of strategy was tuned for YouTube's algorithm at the time, because really good high effort videos were getting rewarded and getting a ton of views. So first thing was quality over quantity, and the second was having an educational aspect to it. And having an educational angle, I think for me personally, that was just the style that I really enjoyed. Those were the type of videos that I enjoyed watching on YouTube in terms of gaming videos, but also just general videos. And the person that really inspired me the most to create the channel was a YouTuber named Wacky Jackie of PUBG. So him, and then also to a lesser degree, CypherPK of Fortnite, were my primary inspirations. The third aspect was just a little bit of luck and a little bit of help from others, which I think is really necessary to get the channel off the ground, promoting outside of YouTube especially. So I picked a pretty broad topic that I thought would be fun, top 10 Krunker tips. And just based on my background from other FPS games and playing Krunker, I just tried my best to give helpful advice to new players. And the video did quite well when I posted it on Reddit, Krunker Reddit. And that's really how I got started with YouTube. People were very supportive on Reddit, upvoted and clicked on it, watched it. And believe it or not, the very first comment I received on YouTube was Sydney. And I was naive, so I did not immediately recognize who he was. So the strategy in the first year worked out really, really well. The watch time was an important metric and still is for YouTube, and the videos had a high watch time. So even though I didn't post very frequently, I would gain a lot of subscribers and I would get a lot of views because the videos would get served in people's feeds. Now I'll explain some downsides to the strategy. Just to be clear, I still think that this is a good strategy. And it's also something that, for me personally, it fit my style well. First challenge is going to be level of effort. So even though, say, you're only posting 1 video a week, sometimes I found myself just putting too much time editing into the videos. I felt like I got really fast at editing, but not necessarily faster than someone who's using a formula that they can kind of like keep on repeating. Something simple with gameplay and just commentary. The second challenge is going to be the watch time aspect of it and YouTube's algorithm. Which you're kind of at the mercy of regardless of which approach you take. But like I said, the watch time was great before, and the watch time was actually pretty consistent throughout. 3 minutes out of like a 7-minute video, 4 minutes, something like that. Pretty solid, but the discoverability would fluctuate a lot. And the other thing is that gaming YouTube in general, as a whole, not just Krunker, but just gaming YouTube, kind of figured out how to manipulate this algorithm, and the videos became really formulaic. In my opinion, this phenomenon is best illustrated among Call of Duty Warzone content. So if you look at YouTubers like Nick Mercs, Swag, or Korean Savage, they all have kind of the same thumbnail, same title. It's usually "this weapon is insane" or like "this loadout is OP," and their face is like reacting at the gun. So look at their view counts, look at their subscribers, and compare it to a YouTuber like True Game Data, who does like really in-depth testing, which really pushes the conversation of the game along. I'm not saying that everyone always wants to watch like high-effort content or educational content or like testing and research for that matter. Of course, plenty of people just want to chill and watch some gameplay. That's completely fine. Someone like Nick Mercs, he's even said that like he does the formulaic approach because he has to, otherwise his videos really just don't get many views. So that's just the kind of crappy thing about gaming YouTube in general. Now let's move on to chapter 3, which is how I became a developer. And I'm going to be explaining kind of how I became interested in coding. This is not going to be how to get a job with Krunker, but more just show you kind of my journey. It really started last year when I was making YouTube videos. I had a ton of topics that I wanted to get to, like complete all the class guides and just do a bunch of different things. Compared to the year before that, even though my channel had grew a lot, my revenue was down a lot. So I kind of just forgot about that and started making videos that I personally enjoyed making. And you can definitely see some really wacky content like last year. I did the Krunker, but it's TikTok video, which was a ton of fun to make. And I knew that it wouldn't necessarily get like a whole lot of watch time because the video was only 1 minute long, but super high effort. Like I think it was a fun video. Probably the ultimate high effort, low return type of content that I kind of found myself like going down a path towards was Krunker Mobile. I think it was April of 2020, mobile controls were added to the game, and then based on my past experience with mobile gaming while working at Razer and also just playing like a lot of PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, I found myself like playing on the phone and just really wanting to customize the controls but not being able to. So I became obsessed, actually even addicted to playing Krunker Mobile and just improving like my own Krunker Mobile experience and just, you know, improving it. The first part of this is when I was able to successfully change the positions of the buttons and have it work by plugging my phone in via USB cable into my computer and then going to like the Chrome Dev Tools and moving things around. And the only way to do that was like plugging the phone in. So I'd be, you know, in bed, like playing Krunker on my phone, and then I would be like getting up and going to my computer to plug my phone in to inject the CSS and then going back to bed. But of course that's pretty inconvenient. It kind of defeats the purpose of a mobile game. I did some research and found that the only way to do this was to make an app. So I went ahead and figured out how to make an Android app, learned some Java. So the early version of the Krunker mobile client was this app that I'm talking about. And the gameplay from my earlier Krunker mobile videos was from this app, and I didn't disclose like what the app was about because I wanted to make sure I'm not like breaking any rules in terms of like Krunker terms of service. Eventually Krunker added CSS support to mod packs, and that made it so you could just drop in the control scheme as CSS into the mod like PhilzGoodMan. I did have some back and forth with Sid at the time as well, and they had stuff in the works, and it was just good to see mobile getting some support. Eventually, Krunker released the Krunker Hub app, which did have customized controls abilities. So then after that, Krunker Mobile wasn't really, you know, as much of a focus for me. But then like later, Sid had reached out to me saying that, you know, performance on the Krunker Hub app in terms of playing the game, there was some challenges, and he was aware that I had a client developed, and he was kind enough to like basically straight up ask if like, you know, I'm interested in helping actively work on this project. But just given my background, I didn't want to overpromise. So what I told him was, let me see how far I can get in making kind of like a more fully fledged Krunker client for mobile in 1 month, and we'll see how it goes. And beyond that, you know, if it works out, then great. But if not, like, you know, that's okay. Also, I do enjoy a challenge and thought, hey, why not just try to figure out if I can do this in a month. Overall, it was a success, and I did get a working version of the app done in 1 month with controls customization that you can customize while you're actually in a game, as opposed to like being on a separate screen and having to exit the game. And that's essentially how I got to where I'm at today. For the sake of confidentiality, I won't go into too much detail about the Krunker Development team itself, but I will say that they've been great to work with, and it's a small but very capable team, and I think that approach makes a lot of sense. Now, to clue you guys in on the future of Krunker Mobile, we definitely got some cool things queued up. I am in the process of working on iOS, and will be finishing soon, so that's good in terms of the Krunker client for mobile. And then beyond that, the plan is kind of take the best parts about the Krunker Hub app, best parts about the client app, and then make a more unified, complete, whole Krunker mobile experience. So that's what I will be focusing on this year. So now that I'm very inconsistent about posting on YouTube, all I can say is thank you so much for your continued support. I'm certainly glad that a lot of my content is like evergreen content that's still relevant today, because the views on my older videos are definitely starting to pick up again. And YouTube channel is always going to be around. I'm always going to be doing videos, just can't guarantee the frequency. I find it funny that I'm not really playing Krunker, at least on PC, that much, but I'm so involved with Krunker on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I think it's pretty natural, but I just find it interesting. The good news is that I see amazing potential with Krunker going forward. And since I started the channel, I mean, we've seen so many games come and die. It's crazy. Krunker just stays strong, and the plans for the future are really, really cool. So people can come and they can go just as you join a Krunker game from your browser or from your phone or from wherever. And that's fine. And the Krunker community has been super, super supportive, and they're great people. And you can learn code, you could create things, you could build worlds. The game just has opened up so many possibilities for me, and I think for a lot of people. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys next time.